Okay, yesterday we talked about the fact that we need to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. We cannot entertain fear. When fear comes, we need to take the weapons of our warfare, which are not carnal but mighty in God. What's that? Well, He gave us His blood. He gave us His word. He gave us His armor. He gave us His promises. He's given us so much that if we'll entertain those thoughts, focus on those thoughts instead of fearful thoughts, then we'll be able to stop fear in its tracks and not allow it to enter in. Again, taking those thoughts captive to the obedience of Christ. Today I want to talk to you about the fact that where did this fear come from? It definitely didn't come from God. We know that for a fact. If we look at Luke chapter 1, verse 74, it says, to grant us that we, being delivered from the hand of our enemies, might serve Him without fear. See, when you serve God, when you're involved with God, we're involved with His kingdom, there is no fear. It's only when we deal with men and things of this earth, fear comes in. Satan wants to use fear against us. Romans chapter 8, verse 15 says this, "For you did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you received the spirit of adoption by whom we cry out, Abba, Father." Again, Abba, Father there means Daddy God. Daddy God. He has this personal, intimate relationship, and He demonstrates His love towards us. And again, faith works through love, right? And so this love thing with God, it builds our trust, it builds our faith, it builds our confidence in Him and who we are in Him. In 2 Timothy, we read this all last week and this week. "Therefore I remind you to stir up the gift of God, which is in you through the laying on of my hands. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind." So again, I need you to really get this in your head. This fear never came from God. God never intended you and I to be fearful. Especially as born-again believers. He did not create this world to cause fear, to make you and I worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. But He came and He said, no, I'm going to give you a spirit of power, a spirit of love, and a spirit of sound mind. That's what God gives us. Get that in your head. So anytime fear comes to you, you know it's not from God. So who's it from? It's from the enemy or from yourself. You've allowed that fear thought to enter in and you've entertained it. So God didn't give it to you, so cast that thing down. Okay? Galatians chapter 5 verse 22 says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control." I don't see anything in there that says about fear. God gave us the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit, His Spirit, which are these things, love, joy, peace, kindness, and so forth. That's the Spirit that we function through. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 14 through 15 says, "In righteousness you shall be established. You shall be far from oppression, for you shall not fear. And from terror, for it shall not come near you. Indeed, they shall surely assemble, but not because of me. Whoever assembles against you shall fall for your sake." So all I can tell you is this. God is making some promises to us, and He didn't give us the fear, so we need to recognize where it comes from. And then just like we said yesterday, we need not to entertain those thoughts, but we need to take those thoughts captive to our relationship with God, and it's a relationship of love. And remember, once again, that those weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God. So we need to run to God and use these elements of His kingdom in order to fight off fear. Focus on Him. Hey, Jesus loves you. I love you. I pray that God would richly bless you as you diligently seek Him and serve Him.